Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video we are going to be pretty much just my predictions for the Premier League table. I know I haven't done this video before, but I've wanted to for a while. I want to do a football video. I know big football fans. Content's never going to outweigh the Jurassic World Evolution 2 content and stuff, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to do predictions and then look back on it and see, well, where I got things right. So, yeah. Now, first off, this is a two-part, so I'm going to do the bottom 10 first, and then I'm going to say what the top 10 will be. At number 20th, I have wrote down, I'm not really sure about this, but I put Nottingham Forest. Now, I know they're in decent form now, but I think it's with them is, I think unfortunately what's going to happen is they're gonna quickly fall off their form. And I would like to put, by the way, I'm a Spurs fan, so in the next part, yeah. But anyway, I think Nottingham Forest unfortunately will get relegated at the lowest position. I think they will start losing a lot of games, and I think quite a lot of the signings they've signed will stay with them. Like Jesse Lingard, for instance, I think if they get demoted, I think he will stay with the club. But I do think as well we will be seeing a couple of the maybe high-end players they've signed leaving the club if they do get demoted at 20th spot. Now, moving on towards number 19, which I put down as Leeds. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I agree on this one, but someone kind of had. This is the only spot I really was kind of conflicted on. It's Leeds or Bournemouth, and I'm going to tell you why Bournemouth, well, is in the position they were in for me. But Leeds go down, in my opinion. I think they've got a really good, decent form so far, but last year they were in the relegation race. This year I think they will be, and I think this year they won't get so lucky, and I think they will get relegated. Now, number 18, and I really do feel bad for the Toffees here, but Everton will get relegated this year. I'm sorry, I know. I think when that Southampton game happened, it was whoever won that game, or if that was a draw, then both of them get relegated. But whoever won would be okay. I think just fucking barely. And Southampton didn't win it, and I think Southampton are in the clear. You'll see where I've ranked them in a little bit, but yeah, Southampton I think are in the clear, and I think Everton will fall. What I do think will happen though is Frank Lampard will go as manager. Just no, is it Gerrard? I always mix up those two. Um, but the manager will go. I always mix up the two. Sorry, but the manager will go for sure. I know the Toffees really do not like him. And no shit, they were like one of the best clubs at one point, and now they're fighting off relegation, which I actually think if they do get a new manager and they could, I think they can pull through and just about survive, but it's not looking terribly likely. Now, number 17th, which might surprise you, I have put Bournemouth to survive. Now, before anyone comes at me, I think they will. I do think they will. I think it'll be a tight relegation battle, but I think something magical will happen and they will survive. I think next year they need to focus on building a stronger squad and pretty much building a decent defence because they've got one of the worst defences in the league and they've conceded a lot of goals. I think they're going to really need to work on that, but I do see them surviving by the skin of their teeth. Moving on, Southampton, 16th. I know some people are going to be like, well, but Southampton's been shit this season. Yeah, but I do think they're on a turning point. I don't think they're going to go on a winning streak, but one win against Man City in a cup. Granted, Man City weren't using their best lineup, but still, they were. The lineup is definitely better than Southampton's. And secondly, Southampton beat Everton in a must-win game for either side, and I do see them scraping by. I think if they do somehow get relegated, though, Ward-Prowse will actually stay. I think there's so many players who would consider themselves loyal, but I don't think they'd be that loyal to the point where they would stay if the club got demoted. However, I do think Southampton will stay up, and I think even if they went down, Ward-Prowse will stay. He's that loyal. Yeah, moving on. Currently, I think they're in the clear now. Wolves. I know that Wolves haven't had the best season, but they've got a new manager. I think they're turning it around, and I think they're looking at a low mid-table finish. Not bad for Wolves, but not amazing, obviously. But for Wolves, it's not too bad. Moving on, 14th West Ham, and I know this one is a little questionable because currently they're fighting off relegation. I think they are actually in a relegation spot currently. Although, please comment if I'm wrong. And I just think their seasons have been terrible. What I do think will happen though is not this transfer window, but next transfer window they will lose Declan Rice. No doubt in my mind, he will not stay at the club for any longer. I think what they need to do is they need to sell him, get a lot of money, and then reinvest because their squad's not amazing, and they need to reinvest to get some decent newer players in, maybe some younger players, just kind of refresh the squad a bit, and then they may be looking at better players because at one point they were challenging for European football. It's ridiculous how far they've gone. Anyway, number 13th, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is always one of those clubs to me which always just seems to finish at mid-table. They don't really ever surprise me that they finish like exactly middle. They don't finish higher. They don't finish lower. They just finish like 13th, 12th, 10th, 11th. They just don't finish anywhere interesting. I don't think necessarily their club's that like insane. I think they might lose Wilfried Zaha if they do a little bit worse for wear this year. I mean, 13th's not bad for them, but like it's not great either. I don't think they've got a couple of, like cool players coming in, but I don't think they're gonna be ever really gunning for a relegation spot. But I also don't think they're ever going to be gunning for European football for a very long time unless something crazy happens. Moving on, number 12, Leicester, and this one hurts because Leicester only about 6 years ago won the fucking Premier League, and currently, since then, they lost some of their best players like Kante, and now, unfortunately, they just kind of finish mid-table every year, and that's a shame because their squad is good. It's just not great, It's not like a Chelsea good squad. It's not a Man City good squad. I would argue it's not even a Spurs good squad. It's not like I would argue it's not as good. It's not as good as Brighton's squad. I'd argue most squads ahead of it in this list are better. And the only squads I would say which aren't better are there because they have great form. And Leicester don't have great form. And that is the issue, unfortunately, with Leicester. I do see them doing a bit better this season than they are currently, but I don't see them doing anything remarkable. Now, moving on. Number 11th, Fulham. Now, Fulham, fair play to them. They are 100% escaping relegation this year. I think next year they're going to be in a bit of a different spot. I think they will be a bit like they're either going to do what Brentford's done, is pretty much come up, do really well, and pretty much be like cemented as a Premier League team, or they're going to fail next year and they're going to fall, and or they basically become like a new Everton and just scrape a relegation. I think because of the great season they're having, I want to say that they might do like a Brentford, but at the same time, I could see, unfortunately, what Mitrovic, for instance, I think he's had a great season so far. I think what might happen is he has a bad season next year, at least a little bit more less good season, pretty much. I think he will have a less good season. I don't think he's going to do as well. But I do hope they do well because I like Fulham, decent club. Moving on, this is the last one of the video. I have put Aston Villa at number 10. They've made a couple bad decisions. They've sold Grealish to Man City, who definitely was a big power, weight in the club. And without him, at least last year, you could really tell how much he made a difference at that club because they didn't finish nearly as well. I think though they've recovered a bit, and I do think they will be doing okay. Aston Villa is a weird club because in reality their squad's really good. In terms of it's not amazing, but it's not bad. I think they should be gunning for like a Conference League, maybe Europa or a push spot, or maybe just under that. I think 10th is a little low for them, but at the same time with their form, I can't really justify them getting like a 7th or a 6th or a 5th. So yeah, I wonder what you guys thought of my predictions. If you could leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I'd love to see you guys' predictions in the comments. I'd be interested to see where you would rank these bottom tens. Who would you think will get relegated, and who do you think will scrape by? Very curious to hear your thoughts in the comments. And as always, have yourself a fantastic day. It's been Parts of Appreciation, signing out.